What's up guys, it's your boy Crystals here, and for this video, since I mentioned I went on a little bit of a spree about a month ago buying up a lot of Criterions during the summer sale, I also want to talk about all the Criterions that are in my collection that I had just kind of bought in passing because why not? I'm doing this for the following reasons. One, I think it's fun. If I'm not having fun with the content I'm making, then why do it? And two, I kind of want to give you guys, the viewer, an idea of, since I am going to be doing the Criterion collection reviews thing, I think I'm going to stick with Crystalis's Criterions. I think that's going to be the tentative title for the series for the moment. I want to give you guys, the viewer, an idea of what all is currently in my collection, and as I get more over time, because I really do like the Criterions, I'm going to, just let you guys know if I add more to the collection like I did just a couple of days ago as I make other videos. This is going to be its own standalone video. There's not going to be a roundup of everything I've watched for the month of August yet. That's most likely going to be the next video. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what all I have acquired, if I can get this stack to be nice and orderly. And here they are. This doesn't even include all the Wes Anderson I have. So I think it would be fairly appropriate to start this video by talking about the very first Criterion I ever purchased. This is Alfonso Cuarón's Roma. This movie has a very special place in my heart for its fantastic cinematography and just heartbreaking storytelling, and it's just such a fantastic movie. I actually didn't realize how much Alfonso Cuarón I have watched over the years until after I had watched Roma. I looked up the filmography of Alfonso Cuarón, and turns out I watched just about all the ones that he put out in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure. He put out this movie, he put out Gravity, Children of Men, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for some reason, which kind of explains why, in my opinion, it's probably the best Harry Potter movie. I bring up Alfonso Cuarón in particular because, holy hell, he does like quadruple duty for this movie. He directs this movie, he co-wrote this movie, he's a producer in this movie, and he does the cinematography for this movie. There was a strong possibility back in 2019 where we would have had a scenario where Alfonso Cuarón would have done what Sean Baker ended up doing with Anora. Thinking on it now, unless winning for Best Foreign Film doesn't count, Alfonso Cuarón could have taken away 5 Academy Awards, which I don't think has ever been done before. Which, by the way, I also have, but I'll get to this beauty in a minute. But yeah, this is my first Criterion that I ever bought, and as you can see, I still have not watched it yet. I'm eventually going to, maybe pretty soon, although I think I already have something else in mind for what I want to watch. But yeah, if you've never watched Roma, you should definitely watch it if you have a Netflix account. If you don't have a Netflix account, you can get this copy, and I think there's also a DVD copy of it on the Criterion collection website as well, or just Amazon. You can probably find it on Amazon too. Alright, just to kill 5 birds with one stone, this is all of the Guillermo del Toro I have, which, at least until Nightmare Alley ends up coming out, because that was just announced for pre-order, this is all the Guillermo del Toro in the Criterion collection. Aside from that, like, trilogy box set that's just Kronos, Pan's Labyrinth, and The Devil's Backbone. Pinocchio, really good movie. If you are able to watch it on Netflix, you should. If not, again, it's on the collection. I just think this is probably, unironically, probably the best iteration of Pinocchio there's ever been. And this is coming from someone that, when I was a kid, watched the Disney animated version, like, more or less ad nauseum, and liked a lot of what that did. I think this is just a lot darker. It approaches the horrors of fascism in a weird way, and yeah, it's just great. I love the hell out of it. I also love the hell out of Pan's Labyrinth. I loved this movie. I've only watched it once, but that tells you how great of a job Guillermo did making this movie when it's like a modern day fairy tale, and yeah, it's fucking fantastic. I do also have something similar to say about The Shape of Water as well. Yeah, again, modern day fairy tale, just fucking amazing, and I think probably out of all the ones in Guillermo del Toro's catalog that I had already seen, this is probably the one I am the most excited to rewatch, and I'm gonna be rewatching slash watching a lot of Guillermo's work as Frankenstein's coming out, and allegedly Frankenstein also might be coming to the Criterion collection. Allegedly. And these are the two new editions. I haven't seen either. Oh, no, that's a lie. I watched Kronos somewhat recently. It's kind of amazing how great of a job Guillermo del Toro did just this early on in his career on his first film. And yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching it. This is The Devil's Backbone. I've not watched it, but it sounds like it's pretty dark from what I understand. When Willem Dafoe was talking about this movie, he believed that this was Guillermo's best work, or might be Guillermo's best work, which I'm very curious as to see why. Alright, so I teased it. It's already partially open because, you know, time. But Sean Baker's Nora, I love this movie. This is fantastic. I think Mikey Madison was just incredible in this movie, and there's obviously, like, you know, going to be a lot of back and forth as to whether or not it deserved to win as many Oscars as it did, but I can definitely say, at least in my humble opinion, it definitely earned at least most of the accolades, if not all the accolades, this movie accumulated. Sean Baker performing quadruple duty with editing, screenplay, producer, and director with this one, and it just feels like, I guess in a weird sort of way, kind of like how Guillermo del Toro makes like these modern fairy tales, except there's like no magic about it. It's just fantasy created by the characters in this movie, and it all just falls apart about halfway through, and reality just comes crashing down on both Annie and Vanya in this film. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, definitely give it a shot. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, as I see as I scroll through Twitter, but I personally dig this movie a lot. I guess before I get into these other ones, this is all of my Wes Anderson Criterion. This is all of the Wes Anderson Criterions on Blu-ray. The Blu-rays for The Isle of Dogs and French Connection, no, not French Connection, French Dispatch are on pre-order. I'm waiting for those to come in the mail in late September. But yeah, it's all of them going all the way up to Isle of Dogs, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go ahead and move them in like release order, just for funsies. Yeah, from bottom to top, it's earliest movie to most recent movie in the collection. Eventually this stack will get taller, and I can't wait. Kind of weird that they haven't done one for Asteroid City yet, considering that there's supposed to be a box set that has all of Wes Anderson's movies in 4K all the way up to The French Dispatch, but for one reason or another Asteroid City is not in the box set. I guess because it's either too new, or they just couldn't get the distribution for it, or for whatever reasons, but I don't think I'm gonna get the box set. By the way, this is my favorite one, the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's just perfect. It's a perfect movie, in my humble opinion. It's absolutely perfect. Like the pinnacle of everything Wes Anderson is as a filmmaker, and just more. I don't think I'm gonna go too deep into all of these, since I've already done a video about my thoughts on Wes Anderson's filmography, which I will leave a link in the description for. But yeah, I mean, if you fucking love Wes Anderson, get these, and if they're somehow not in your collection. And even if you don't, I'm basically a big supporter of what Criterion does, and in terms of packaging and bonus features and everything. So yeah, you can basically get all the Criterions. Almost all of Wes Anderson's filmography is on Criterion, so you just can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. Christopher Nolan's Following, this is his very first movie. I watched this some time back, and it's weird to say that this is his worst film, but it's still pretty good. I don't even mean that in terms of just like, oh, the story was whack or the acting was terrible or anything. Christopher Nolan, like, had the sauce so early in his career, and due to the limits of I think it was a $6,000 budget, we only ended up with 70 minutes. This is like an episode of Sherlock. Yeah, I love this movie quite a bit as well. Obviously not one of my favorite Christopher Nolans. I'm a much bigger fan of movies like Oppenheimer and The Dark Knight, Inception, Interstellar. Honestly though, Interstellar I kind of had a recent surge in appreciation for, since I got to watch it in IMAX like some few months back. But yeah, Christopher Nolan's Following, I think this is not just on the collection, but I think it's actually streaming on the channel if you ever want to watch it. But also in passing, I've seen like super cheap, like $2 DVD copies of it at secondhand stores. So yeah, if you ever wanted to see the like Patient Zero, that's what I'm looking for one of the greatest directors to ever live, then yeah, I'd definitely watch Following. Two Bong Joon-ho movies, Parasite, one of the best fucking movies ever made, and Memories of a Murder, also one of the best movies ever made, but nowhere near as great as this. Well, This is really good. I dug Memories of a Murder a lot. I'm due for a rewatch because the first time I watched it was on Tubi, and it just kept bombarding me with ads over and over and over again. But this was definitely not just a movie about trying to find a serial killer, but also just the incompetence of Korea around that time as it pertained to trying to catch this guy, while also just trying to keep law and order around that time period. I think more so what I mean about that is that there ended up being this image or whatever of this like insane, just flamboyant, maybe not flamboyant, but just a batshit insane image of a person that they conceive of as a serial killer, only for it to just probably just have been some guy just wedging the judgment of all the detectives trying to find the serial killer. That's more so what I'm trying to get at there. And it just also has one of the most painfully gut-wrenching endings of any movie that I've ever seen. And honestly, I could probably say the same about Parasite. This ending is just so in-your-face, hard-hitting, and just there are no happy endings for anybody in this movie. None. Also, I didn't realize that the Korean word for parasite, or at least I think that's what that is, Jiseongchong, is on the back right here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's in parentheses right under Parasite. But yeah, I love this fucking movie so much. I just absolutely had to have this. It's just one of my favorite movies of all time. Just a really accurate portrayal of what class solidarity looks like. Just a great portrayal of how in the world of capitalism there ends up not being any such thing as good or evil, just rich and poor, and just, you know, people trying to make their own way in the best way they can, while the rich are just reaping all the benefits of leisure, hence why it's called Parasite. Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. I think if you ever want to start your own collection of Criterions, you absolutely have to start with Seven Samurai. It's just a very, very crucial piece of cinema, just in general, this movie is just so immaculately well done. It's a 3.5 hour long samurai movie about all, these 7 samurai just banding together to defend a village from bandits. And it's just not just so well done, and it just does a great job setting it all up. It doesn't even feel like it's 3.5 hours long. Like the pacing is just perfect for this movie. Everything about this movie is perfect in its own way. I can't conceivably think of anything negative to say about it. So yeah, Seven Samurai, if you've never watched it, find like either a long evening or, just a morning or whatever to watch this movie. Or hell, if it's showing at like a theater near you, like definitely go watch this ASAP. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. Jonathan Demm's Silence of the Lambs, like another classic. I mean, what more can be said about Silence of the Lambs that hasn't already been said? Like, Anthony Hopkins is fucking amazing. Jodie Foster is fucking amazing. Just classic, like mysterious, gross, and just thriller, horror, whatever you want to call it. It's just so fucking well done. If for some reason you have never watched Silence of the Lambs, do yourself a favor and watch it. This is Steven Soderbergh's Che. I have been heavily influenced by Denis Villeneuve to get this and watch it someday. I don't know when. It's like 4.5 hours long. Albeit it is 2 parts, I could probably just watch one part one day and watch another part the other day, but I prefer to just sit down and watch the whole thing in full. So many people are calling it Steven Soderbergh's best movie, which is, remains to be seen, since I do like Traffic quite a bit, which I still need to rewatch. And yeah, quite a bit of Steven Soderbergh movies I've watched, and Che will definitely be one of them at some point. Frances Ha, I mentioned this in my previous video that I have this copy when I was talking about Marriage Story, but Frances Ha, I was really blown away by how great it was when I watched it for the first time some months back, and I saw this at a discount, as you can tell, at Barnes & Noble, and I just felt like I needed to have it, so I got it. Just a really great movie about like the portrait of someone just so whimsical in life that doesn't want to lose their best friend, and life is just happening so fast for everybody, and it's either like she figures it out and adapts and moves on from, just all the change that's happening in her life, or she just ends up continuing just being lost in everything. At least that's my interpretation of it. There's probably other more intellectual and smarter and more accurate interpretations of Frances Ha, but at the end of the day, it's film, and it's always up for interpretation as art is. So yeah, this is on the Criterion channel, I'm pretty sure, if you ever want to watch it. I definitely recommend it. It's not a very long movie, it's only like 86 minutes, so yeah, like, if you haven't watched Frances Ha, I recommend it. Safdie Brothers Uncut Gems. I had the privilege of being able to watch this on an IMAX screen last year, and I was just so taken aback by how fucking amazing it was. And it's so criminal that Adam Sandler and everyone else that worked on this movie ended up getting no recognition for it at the Oscars. It's fucking criminal, and I think that everyone deserves some kind of reparation for their work getting neglected as hard as it did. And I think probably the only time I can think of when I was at the theater, and I'm not going to spoil anything, the only time an ending just physically had my mouth agape, both hands covering it. I was literally like, just in utter disbelief throughout the rest of the movie when I saw what happened. Yeah, this is incredible. I recommend it. Pixar's WALL-E, Andrew Stanton's WALL-E. This is one of my favorite animated movies of all time, and it's alarming how much that's in this movie ended up being brought to reality. We are definitely not too far off from all the stuff that we were laughing at that happens in WALL-E, and oh yeah, this would never happen to our planet. we are not going to be a species where we end up just requiring these hovering chairs to like move us around, and we all just become fat and lazy and just completely oblivious to the world and yada yada yada. I mean, you know? I just think the storytelling is great. I think the animation is just impeccably amazing with the lighting, and the use of cinematography in this movie is just so fucking incredible. Yeah, I love WALL-E. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to end with one of my favorite movies of all time, maybe a top 50 movie for me personally. Joel and Ethan Coen's No Country for Old Men. This is just an incredible movie. This is just fucking amazing. My mind immediately goes to Javier Bardem's performance in this film, because, like, I mean, look, he's on the cover. Look at him. He is out to kill. And, like, just everything about this movie, the cinematography is fucking amazing. I love Javier Bardem in this movie. Tommy Lee Jones and Josh Brolin, also amazing in this movie. And the pacing is just so incredible. This feels like a lot of what the Coen brothers were working on, like hashing out with movies like Fargo and Blood Simple and all that, and it just accumulating into like probably the single greatest neo-western ever made. Like, it's just unfathomable how good this movie is, in my humble opinion. So yeah, that is all of my collection. And yeah, if you watched the previous video where I go through my summer haul, which I will leave in the description, and if you just watched through this one, what are some movies in my collection that you would like to see me do one of my videos about? I'm eventually going to do all of them over the course of a year. So yeah, if there's any that ends up in high demand, I'm going to keep that in mind and do that one. My girlfriend really wants me to do the Yojimbo Sanjuro Akira Kurosawa box set, and that will probably be what I do next, but we'll see, because I'm very interested in a lot of other movies in my collection. I think some of them I've actually shown here. Once October hits, I'm definitely going to go full on focused on Guillermo del Toro, since Frankenstein's coming out, so in all likelihood it's going to be Guillermo del Toro after Guillermo del Toro after Guillermo del Toro. So if you're a Guillermo del Toro hater for some reason, my channel is not going to be for you come this October. And if you are invested in the series or just, you know, need the kind of videos like this to like put in the background as you're studying or whatever, considering hitting like and subscribe, because I'm definitely going to get back in the swing of making videos like this, like, for the time to come. Also, I didn't realize you tilted over. I'm going to figure this out someday. But yeah, that's about it. It's your boy Chrysalis here. Signing off.